Well, welcome to another episode of Rim Shots with Sean, right here in the Rock Rage Radio Network, brought to you by Barstools and Bandtalk. I have with me Jay Thomas. We're here to talk about, as you can hear, there's a lot of hustle and bustle going on in the background. The Badass Radio Network, sir. How are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself, Sean? What's going on?
You know what? I can't complain, man. We're in 2025, and we're making some changes, if you will. We're doing some new things, and the year's already started out better than last year, so we'll take it. Tell us about this endeavor. I saw the presser, and obviously Tag did a great job because it allowed me to want to go and find out more.
Well, I appreciate that. And again, thank you for having me on the show today. It's kind of awesome to actually be interviewed rather than the one interviewing. So it's interesting being on the opposite. It's weird being on this side of it. The Badass Radio Network, actually, I launched it 3 years ago in 2021. This year, I want to do more social media live broadcast versions of our shows. So any of our shows that are on like Twitch or anything like that, I want to bring it more to the forefront and actually be on a platform on our radio network and on our social media to go forward with that. So that's kind of how the new version 2.0 came about, was to kind of just be more in the eye of everybody besides the ears with all the music and shows that we have.
Well, and in this day and age of social media, and as we mentioned, people's attention spans there beforehand, you really have to do more. You'll appreciate this. You'll do something that you think is great and it might get 1,000 views, and then some guy feeds raccoons on his back deck and he gets 8 million, right? So exactly. You do have to show for more material, right? What's some of the things that you've been doing to try to draw viewers in?
Well, one is live interviews. Yesterday I did one with a band that we're working with Tag Publicity called Gil Saw. We did a live interview last night. Not a lot of viewers, but it's one of those things where it's going to be on the platform forever. It's going to be on YouTube. Today we're doing one with the band Left on Red, another band I'm working with. So we're going to be going live at 1 o'clock on the Badass Radio Network Facebook pages and Tag Publicity and all the other stuff. So it's going to be pretty cool to kind of do this more, kind of interact with the fans more, with the artists as well.
So a lot of people, I work with a number of PR firms. I work with a gentleman by the name of Michael Brandvold, who used to work with KISS, and he's worked with Accept and Foghat. Michael's kind of my guru on numbers, because I often find in social media, people understand numbers. They think big numbers are what makes things, and it's more engagement things. And what's your journey been like in terms of capturing the imagination of people and bringing them into what you're doing?
For me, it's just being real. Like, I hate the usual content that's out there. It's hard to kind of explain, but everybody knows when they see the same thing over and over again, that's what they get bored with. So I like seeing something that's a little bit more entertaining, a little more thoughtful, a little bit more out there. I started at the end of last year doing little reels where it was just a whiteboard and me. And there was a little sign on the whiteboard that said something, and I was just doing something stupid in the background. So there you go. That kind of made sense for me to kind of get things rolling. And like you said, social media numbers for those actually went up. So I got to kind of keep that rolling.
No, absolutely. And you nailed something with reels, because my producer, Jason McCorson, he came to me. I have an artist that I work with that I'll talk to you off camera here about. And he said, we got to look at reels, because reels, they're short, people are into them. And so Jason's put a couple of them together, 3 or 4 of them together. One of them is at over 155,000 hits.
There you go.
And so I'm a believer, and people are like, well, it's not real songs. Yeah, but in this day and age of people wanting, going on and wanting to see people burp the alphabet, you got to hit them where they're going to go, right?
It's crazy how that kind of, like you said, switches things, something stupid like that. But if you give somebody information or anything else in that aspect, you get nothing. To me, it's not about numbers to me anymore. I just kind of enjoy what I do anyway. Mm-hmm. So if it's entertaining to me or I like it, if it gets 5 likes, I don't care. Yep. If it gets 100,000, like you said, cool. But you know what? Does it mean anything to me? Not really.
It's a good way to look at it, because I'm one of those guys that the traditional media people don't like, right? Because I'm a podcaster by accident. COVID hit. I'm a drummer playing in a band, was doing 100 and some odd shows a year. Couldn't do it. hey, I'll try this thing, and it took off, and here I am 5 years later, and I've interviewed some great people. But like you, I take more, I guess, the people that actually respond to me and agree to come on to my show versus,
Bingo.
you know, I've got a million views on this thing or that thing. And I've had a lot of luck, and it's really tough in this game to not get caught up in what the 95% of the world that doesn't understand it thinks.
Well, if you were to just base everything on your likes and shares, and that's what your happiness is built on, you're in it for the wrong reason.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
for me, it's getting the content out there and just putting it out there. Like I said, whether I like it or not, whether somebody else likes it or not, it's out there. And I say this about music too. So some of the bands that I work with, and even bands that aren't, known, there's music out there for everybody. So keep putting that music out there. If somebody doesn't like it here, somebody's gonna like it there. That's how I kind of look at social media. It's the same way. And obviously, you see that with the comments on things on X and Facebook or anything, where you get the haters and then you get the people that love it. So it's like it's a two-way street when it comes down to it.
Yeah, you have to develop a thick skin. I've got a fella who I produce every so often. Oh, he's back, and he will go on and he'll make a comment. It's a fake, made-up account. The last one I did a product review, and his comments were lamest drummer on the scene with the worst hair.
Oh my God! Well, at least I
And
could not have to worry about the worst hair part. Maybe worst beard or best beard. I don't know,
no, it's looking pretty good today. I think.
but not mine.
Well, I always say to people though, if I had a melon that looked like yours, I'd probably do that.
There you
Unfortunately, I have a
go.
melon that looks like I've been dropped on my head repeatedly, so it's not the best shape. And my grandmother always used to say that God covers the heads of the ones that He's most ashamed of. So, hi, how you
Oh, ooh.
doing? But you mentioned, you used the phrase a couple times in this interview, bands that I work with. Talk a little bit about that, Evan.
Very interesting. I ended up leaving my job, my, as you would call it, 9 to 5 job. I was doing sports talk radio, so I was
Mhm.
a digital for that. Toward the end of my tenure there in November, I was kind of leaving there, and I got in contact with Tom George of Tag Publicity, who I've been friends with for years, and just asked him straight out of the blue, "Hey, do you know of anybody that's hiring in the music industry?" And he goes, "Funny you say that, because we're looking to bring somebody on to kind of help with things." Sad situation happened a few weeks later, so actually it was a month ago today. Tom George passed away, and basically his wife
Right, I
Tracy
heard that.
was who has taken over. She has kind of bowed out for a little bit because of everything that's been happening. I was the one that ended up taking over and basically really running with everything the past month, which has been just a whirlwind of who I've been working with and how busy I've been. It's awesome. I mean, I'm reaching out to bands that
Yep.
either I've known or that are up and coming, and I'm getting all these different people that are seeing my work ethic and seeing how I'm putting myself out there, putting the tag publicity out there, keeping it going, even in Tom's legacy, to kind of keep that going. Because I know it for a fact that there is no way he would have wanted this to end, and he would want Tracy and I to kind of keep this going. So I appreciate every opportunity that they have given me, and I'm going to run with it.
Yeah, I've dealt with Tracy now for probably 2 years. She's been great to deal with, and the releases that I get from your group are always very professional, very well laid out. I understand what's going on, and happy to spread the word any way I can. So you're based out of Chicago. I
Correct.
always like to ask friends that are in other marketplaces, what their scene is like. What would you tell me about Chicago?
It is run by tribute and cover bands currently.
Okay.
That's what it is. Whether you like it or not, I want the original music. So that's kind of what I like. I also whoa, we're getting feedback over there. I don't know what's going on.
Jenkinson, please come to the office for a message. Thank you.
Well, and I mean, the thing that, sorry, just we're in a little bit of high. You had noise, no, I had noise.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I talk to people in Nashville. Nashville's all about paying dues. I talk to people in New York. The scene's all over the place. I talk to people in Los Angeles. The scene's all over the place. It just seems to be a time of, I'm going to throw this out there. When COVID hit, everybody was like, if we ever get our music scene back, we're never going to take it for granted. I kind of feel like maybe it's being taken for granted in some
Oh, it
areas
totally
again.
is.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple music venues close down around here. The original shows obviously aren't as popular as cover and tribute shows anymore. I mean, there used to be a music venue right around the corner from me that would host amazing live acts, originals. They had Gemini Syndrome there. They had Dirty Honey there. They had Living Color there. Now it's all tributes and cover bands because unfortunately the management changed, and apparently that's what brings in people to the shows is music that people understand and already knew and like and whatnot. They don't want to go out and find these new original bands. So that's what we're here for, you and I, and the radio stations and stuff, is I want to put out the new music, get these new artists known, because you go to these music festivals now, you're seeing the same headliners, that have been 20, 30, 40 years ago headlining. Where are the newer bands up and coming? Why aren't they getting a shot to kind of jump in on there?
Yeah, it's a good point, because I say this an awful lot. Had there been more, I guess locally here where I'm from, but just more of a new wave of people coming up and sticking with it, I probably would have got to, maybe not to have to work so hard as I've had
exactly.
to. And I'm not saying I'm a savior of anything, but the challenge is that in today's day and age, music is an also thing. Like, I get you have to have a second job, but it's kind of like I've never seen it such an easy game to get into now, where, oh, you're good, you should go play a club. And then people that really don't understand it go in and charge nothing and play and take jobs and that type of thing. So it is frustrating in that sense. But I like what you're saying. Your goal there to try to get the next wave of original live bands out there. I think that's an amazing thing.
Yeah, that's exactly the point of not only just Badass Radio Network and Tech Publicity, bring that new music to the forefront. There was a campaign that I just released yesterday with the band Dead Girls Corp, AI-based music. People are saying it's coming. Well, it's here now, and to me, this song that they put out was a banger. Whether you like it or not, it's here. You just have to kind of bring it in. It's kind of the same way, like I'm a concert photographer too. AI being used for video and for audio and for now all that, as well as photo. It's here. It's not going to go away. So you either have to embrace it or, kind of push it off, and then you'll be like the people using the old Betamax before instead of the VHS tapes back in the day, and then moving on from there.
Well, it's funny you mention that, because I know during COVID, when a theme was that people taking advantage of technology, when things happen on the other side, they will be the ones that'll be the benefactors of it. And again, I didn't want to, I don't want to sit here and say I predicted the future, but I know an awful lot of friends of mine that are currently not in the business because they dug in and didn't embrace some of the stuff that was happening.
Yeah, I mean, even digital, a lot of shows, and I see this all the time with bands that have backing tracks on their shows. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just the digital age of having it. So you're either going to embrace it or you're not. So no need to shit on it all. I don't know if I can swear on the show. I probably
100%.
could. So just want to make sure, people shit on that regardless. And it's prevalent. It's all over music. It's all over media. So any kind of music related thing, there's always going to be a digital aspect of it now going into it.
Well, it cracks me up that the guy that's most adamant about somebody on stage with the tablet is the guy that has the full-fledged music stand with a binder and notes on it, right? It's always the way. So, quickly tell me about the network, because anytime you say network, there can be a bunch of connotations. What is the end game? What is the now game? What is the go forward?
So the Badass Radio Network has built an established, basically, shows weekly. So Monday through Friday, we have, I think it is a dozen DJs and over 20 unique radio shows, podcasts, all that. There's going to be interviews with bands. We have the Chord Progression podcast, which is on Tuesdays and Thursdays, hosted by Kevin. He's amazing with what he does. We have on Mondays, Doc Rock's Metal Show 101. He's amazing. He does a 2-hour show. Our Friday shows are stacked. Our Wednesday shows are stacked from front to back. We have Big Bear Radio on at 6 o'clock. We have Talking Shit with Pete. Then you have the shows that I do. I kind of host a variety of shows. My main one, Rock Hard with Evan J. Thomas, Thursday nights at 7 o'clock on the Badass Radio Network. You could check it out there. But yeah, it's just a whole network of different podcasts, different radio shows, and different aspects. So whether it's interviews, rock music, collection of different types of music, if it's, a segment of, a specialty 80s show, we kind of throw it all in there. Our music base, though, is rock and metal. Also, anything from the new metal era, current stuff. We got out of the 90s grunge. We got out of the 80s hair metal. We got out of the classic rock. What we have is that. So our specialty shows might have the classic rock or the grunge stuff, but our normal daily playlists are newer stuff and new metal.
Fantastic. We got to get out of here, but I want to thank you for doing this. Where can my viewers and listeners find you guys so that they can tune in and start paying attention?
Well, Sean, you could listen to the Badass Radio Network. We're on the Live 365 app. It's a free app, so you can download it there. We're also on Roku devices. You have to download Live 365. We're on your Amazon Alexa device. And on our social media, we're BA Radio Network on Facebook and Badass Radio Network on Instagram, TikTok, and on X. And our website, badassproductions1.com.
Evan J. Thomas, my friend,
yes,
thank you so much.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you.
We're back after this.